Ryan was a human engineer, born in a small colony on Mars but raised among machines instead of people. He worked for the Interstellar Research Union, a group that sent humans far across space to study new civilizations. He never imagined that one small repair mission would take him to a royal ship belonging to the most powerful alien empire in the galaxy, the Volari Dominion. The Volari were tall, graceful beings with luminous skin that changed color with emotion. Their eyes glowed like starlight, and their cities floated between moons. To humans they seemed like living art. To Ryan they were terrifying. He was just a technician, not an ambassador. But fate had other plans. It began when the Union sent Ryan to fix a communication relay near the border of Volari space. The task was simple: check the signal array, patch the damaged circuits, and return home. But halfway through the mission, his small shuttle detected a massive energy surge. Before he could react, his screen filled with warnings, and an enormous Volari battleship appeared from a glowing wormhole. The ship's engines were failing, and a power core was about to explode. Ryan could have turned away. He had no weapons, no authority, and no reason to get involved. But something inside him refused to watch others die. He locked his ship onto the battleship's signal and hailed them. "This is Ryan from the Union vessel Sparrow. Your reactor is unstable. I can help if you let me dock," he said. There was silence for several seconds, then a voice came through, calm, smooth, but full of tension. "Human vessel, this is the Volari Royal Guard. Your offer is noted. Our systems are failing. Proceed at your own risk." The moment he boarded, he saw chaos. Sparks filled the corridors. Volari soldiers shouted commands in their melodic language. The air shimmered from leaking plasma lines. Ryan pushed through the crowd, scanning the power readings on his wrist pad. He followed the data trail to the reactor chamber. There, standing before the control pillar, was a figure who seemed made of light itself, a woman in silver robes with glowing blue eyes. She was the princess of the Volari, though he didn't know it then. "You are human," she said, surprised by his arrival. "Yes, ma'am," Ryan answered, trying not to sound nervous. "And your ship is going to blow up unless someone reroutes the coolant flow. Step aside, please." The guards looked ready to stop him, but the princess raised her hand. "Let him work." Ryan crawled into the maintenance shaft, his hands moving faster than his thoughts. He patched wires, sealed coolant leaks, and rewrote the emergency code. Sweat ran down his forehead as alarms screamed. He muttered calculations under his breath. Then, with a deep breath, he pulled the main lever. The reactor's red light faded to green. The ship stopped shaking. The Volari stared in silence. "It's stable now," Ryan said, stepping back and wiping his hands. "You're safe," the princess smiled softly. Her glow shifted to a bright golden hue, the Volari color of gratitude. "You have saved my people, human." "It's my job," Ryan replied, though he couldn't help but stare. She looked unlike anyone he had ever seen, elegant, calm, and strong at once. Her name, he later learned, was Princess Arala of the Volari Dominion. When the danger passed, Ryan expected to return home. But the Volari insisted on honoring him. Their culture valued courage and selflessness, and saving a royal ship was an act of immense honor. The ship changed course and carried him straight to Valerian Prime, their homeworld, to meet the royal family. The capital city was unlike anything human eyes had ever seen. Floating gardens stretched across the sky. Crystal towers hummed with energy drawn from the stars themselves. The palace stood at the heart of it all, surrounded by shimmering pools that reflected the light of 3 moons. Ryan was brought before the royal council. He stood nervously in a hall of glass and silver. Volari nobles watched him with curiosity. To them he looked strange, small, plain, and solid compared to their ethereal forms. The queen sat on a throne made of light. Beside her stood Princess Arala, wearing a crown that glowed with soft blue light. "Human," the queen said, her voice echoing through the chamber. "You saved our royal vessel and our daughter. Such bravery cannot go unrewarded. Speak your wish and we shall grant it." Ryan swallowed hard. "Your Majesty, I didn't do it for reward. I just did what anyone would do," the nobles murmured among themselves. Volari did not understand such humility. For them, honor was earned through recognition. Arala stepped forward. "Mother, may I speak?" The queen nodded. Arala looked at Ryan. "You risked your life for strangers. You acted without fear or demand. I find that remarkable." Among my people, when someone shows unmatched courage, we honor them through union, a sacred bond. Ryan blinked, unsure what she meant. Union? The hall grew quiet. Yes, said Arala, a royal vow. Marriage in your human tongue. Every Valari in the room gasped. Ryan's face went pale. He looked around, hoping someone would explain that this was a misunderstanding. But Arala's expression was calm and serious. Wait, he said slowly. You mean you want to marry me? Her voice was steady. Yes, human. You have earned that honor. Ryan's mind spun. He thought of all the warnings his captain had given him about alien customs. He tried to remember the diplomatic handbook, but nothing in it prepared him for this. I think there's a mistake, he stammered. Humans don't, I can't, this is too much. The queen looked intrigued rather than offended. Do humans reject royal vows so easily? It's not that, Ryan said quickly. It's just, I'm not royalty. I fix wires. That made a few nobles chuckle, their laughter like wind chimes. But Arala didn't laugh. She stepped closer, her glow softening. You are humble, she said. That makes you worthy. Ryan felt his heart racing. He had faced reactor meltdowns and storms on alien moons. But this was something far more dangerous. A princess looking at him like he had changed her world. Before he could speak again, a voice interrupted from the far end of the hall. Wait. Another woman walked forward. Her glow was red and silver, her eyes sharp like fire. She carried herself with authority equal to the princess. It was Saren, Arala's younger sister. If you intend to join with this human, Saren said firmly, then by Valari law I must be part of the vow as well. The entire hall erupted in confusion. Even the queen seemed taken aback. Arala frowned. Saren, what are you saying? Saren crossed her arms. You know the rule. Royal bonds among heirs must be shared to keep the balance of power. If you marry him, I must too. Unless you wish to break tradition. Ryan looked between them, his mouth half open. Wait, what, 2 vows? What are you people talking about? The nobles whispered among themselves. Some looked amused. Others looked horrified. The queen raised her hand to quiet the crowd. Saren speaks truth. The law of balance cannot be broken. If this human accepts a royal bond with one heir, he must accept both. Rian felt dizzy. Both? You mean I'd have to marry both of you? Saren smirked. It appears so, human. Arala looked embarrassed for the first time. Mother, perhaps we can discuss. But the queen seemed entertained. Let it be known that the human is offered a rare honor. 2 royal heirs seek his vow. Let him choose. Rian wanted to protest, but the words caught in his throat. He looked at Arala, then at Saren. Both were beautiful, but in very different ways. Arala was calm like a sunrise. Saren was bright like a comet. He opened his mouth, closed it again, and finally said the only thing that came to mind. Can someone please explain what's happening before I accidentally start an intergalactic marriage? The queen's laughter filled the hall. You are brave, human. But now you must decide whether courage extends to matters of the heart. Arala smiled gently. Do not fear. We will not force you. But remember, the fate of 2 worlds may depend on your choice. Ryan stood there, surrounded by glowing eyes and alien royalty, wondering how a simple repair job had turned into the most impossible situation in human history. He didn't know it yet, but his answer would soon shape the future of both species. And somewhere deep inside, the stars themselves seemed to wait for what this one human would say next. Ryan could hardly believe what had just happened. One moment he had been a humble human engineer, fixing a reactor on a Valari battleship. The next he was standing in a grand palace on Valerian Prime, being offered a royal bond by a glowing alien princess and simultaneously threatened by her sister's insistence on an equal claim. He pinched the bridge of his nose. Okay, he muttered, I need a plan. Maybe if I just stay quiet, they'll forget this ever happened. That thought lasted less than a second. Saren, the younger sister, was already walking toward him with her head high, her glowing silver-red aura pulsating with purpose. Unlike Arala's calm, steady glow, Saren's light flickered like flames. She was not only beautiful, but also confident, daring, and unafraid to speak her mind. Human, Saren said, her voice commanding yet melodic. I must insist. If my sister claims you, I claim you as well. The law is clear. The balance of power demands equality among heirs. Rian opened his mouth, closed it, and opened it again. I'm not sure humans even have laws about this. And honestly, I didn't sign up for any law that involves marrying anyone, let alone two alien princesses. Saren's eyes narrowed. The law of our people is not yours to question. But it is not cruel. It is tradition. And tradition must be respected. Arla stepped forward, placing a glowing hand gently on her sister's arm. Saren, it is not necessary to frighten him. He does not yet understand our ways. Saren shrugged. Understanding will come with choice. If he refuses, the Union may consider it an insult. We cannot allow that. The humans are too strong to underestimate. And yet, one human may not bear the burden alone. That is why we must both share the vow. Ryan felt as if the floor beneath him had shifted. He looked from Arala to Saren and back again. Both sisters were staring at him, waiting for his answer. He had faced deadly storms in space, mechanical failures that could destroy entire ships and even pirates from the outer belt, but nothing he thought had ever felt as impossible as this moment. Okay, he said, trying to buy time. Let's step back for a second. You're saying that if I agree to your, whatever this is, then I have to agree to both of you? Yes, Saren said simply. It is the law. It is not optional. Arala looked at Rian, her eyes filled with something he could not identify. You do not need to understand immediately. Only the heart can guide such a choice. Time will help. Ryan sighed and ran a hand through his messy brown hair. I don't even know if humans are ready for whatever this is. You're royalty, I'm just an engineer. I can fix ships, build circuits, write code, but I have no experience in intergalactic vows. Saren tilted her head, studying him. Perhaps that is why you were chosen. Humans are unpredictable, and their hearts are simple but true. This makes you strong. Ryan's ears burned at the compliment, but he could not help wondering what kind of test this really was. Did Arala's people often give strangers this kind of honor? And if so, why him? Before he could ask more questions, a Valari guard approached with a message. Princess Arala, the council awaits your decision. Human participation is required for the ceremonial procedure. Arala nodded and turned to Ryan. The ceremony is not dangerous. It is a formality. It will allow both of you to learn about each other. Ryan hesitated. Learn about each other? During a ceremony that might make me, what, marry both of you? Yes, Saren said, stepping closer. You may feel fear. That is natural. But it is also the moment when truth will shine. Ryan swallowed hard. He had faced real danger before, but this was different. This was not about life or death. This was about choices that could affect two powerful alien worlds. And now he realized he had to navigate something far more complicated than reactor cores or alien languages. He took a deep breath and nodded. Fine, I'll do it, but can someone explain what I'm supposed to do? I don't even know the steps here. The sisters exchanged a glance. Arala's glow softened while Saren's flickered. Do not fear, Arala said. You will not be alone. We will guide you. The ceremony is about honesty, courage, and trust. Saren added, and respect. You must respect the law and the balance of our people. If you do this with sincerity, everything will fall into place. Rian looked at the two glowing figures and wondered if sincerity alone could ever be enough. He nodded again, feeling a strange sense of determination rise in him. He had saved their ship. Maybe now he could help save their trust in humans. The ceremonial hall was a massive chamber, shaped like a dome of crystal. Light refracted through its walls, casting rainbow patterns across the polished floor. High above, a circular opening revealed the stars of Valerian Prime, 3 moons hovering in silent orbit. The council was already seated. Valari nobles of all shapes and glows watched carefully. Ryan's human form looked tiny in comparison, but there was a quiet respect in their eyes. They knew he had saved the royal vessel. Arala guided him to a central platform where 2 glowing pedestals awaited. She stood on one pedestal while Saren stood on the other. Ryan stepped to the middle. The ceremony will test the human's heart, a council elder said. It is not violent, but it is revealing. You must show who you are and how you will honor the balance of the Valari heirs. Your actions and words will determine whether the union is blessed. Ryan swallowed. Revealing, how? You will see, Arala said gently. The hall will show visions. Your courage, your honesty, your intentions. Fear will appear. Doubt will appear. But your heart must remain true. Ryan nodded again. He felt like a child standing at the edge of a cliff. His mind raced. He had repaired reactors and saved ships. But could he survive a test of heart before alien royalty? Saren's eyes flickered. Remember, human. You are not only representing yourself, you are representing all humans. If your heart is false, the balance of our worlds may falter. If it is true, you may become a bridge between our species. The council chanted softly in unison. The floor beneath the platform began to glow. Light surrounded Ryan, Arala, and Saren, lifting them slightly off the ground. The chamber walls shimmered, showing images from Ryan's past. Moments of courage, moments of failure, moments where he chose honesty over fear. Ryan's heart pounded. Each vision was vivid, almost alive. He saw himself saving a child on Mars from a falling module, fixing a shuttle's engine under a meteor shower, and helping strangers in space stations far from Earth. Every act of human decency was magnified before him. Your courage is noted, a council voice echoed, but now your intentions must be tested. Suddenly the visions changed. He saw Arala and Saren in danger, their ship attacked by unseen forces. He saw humans betraying him, making mistakes that could destroy alliances. He saw fear, doubt, and failure around every corner. Rian took a deep breath. He closed his eyes and remembered why he had helped the Valari in the first place. He had acted without expectation of reward. He had chosen honesty and courage, even when the odds were against him. Opening his eyes, he spoke clearly. I cannot promise perfection.
I am human, and humans make mistakes.
But I can promise honesty, respect, and courage. I will honor both of you, not because of law, but because it is right. I will do everything I can to protect the balance and help both our peoples. The chamber fell silent. Then the light around him brightened, warm and steady. The visions disappeared, replaced by the calm glow of the two sisters beside him. Saren's flames softened. Your heart is true, she said. Arala smiled. Yes, you have passed the first test. The ceremony continues, but your courage and honesty are recognized. Rian let out a long breath. He had survived the visions, stayed true to his words, and impressed two alien princesses at the same time. Somehow he had survived the impossible, and yet as he looked at Arala and Saren, he knew the journey was far from over. There would be challenges, misunderstandings, and tests of trust. But for the first time, he felt something he had not expected. Hope. He was not just a human engineer anymore. He was a part of something bigger, a bridge between worlds, a symbol of courage and honesty in the galaxy, and maybe, just maybe, someone who could earn the trust and respect of two extraordinary alien sisters. For now, though he allowed himself a small smile, he had made it through the first challenge, and he was ready to face whatever came next. After surviving the first part of the ceremonial test, Ryan thought he might finally catch a breath. The Hall of Balance had shown him visions of courage and honesty, and he had stood firm. Yet standing on the platform of the ceremonial hall, he realized the challenges were far from over. The sisters' expectations weighed on him like gravity, and the realization that he represented all humans pressed on his mind. Arala, with her soft blue glow, guided him toward the central chamber. The first step was for your heart. The next step, she said, will test your understanding of our people and of yourself. Saren's red-silver light flickered impatiently. Yes, you must now see that truth and honesty are not enough. A human must understand balance, duty, and courage in action. You must show us that your heart is worthy beyond words. Ryan swallowed. Action? Right. I've fixed engines, reactors, and communication arrays. But what do you want me to do now? Arala smiled, sensing his nervousness. This is not about machines, Ryan. This is about decisions that affect lives. You will learn what it means to be part of the Valari Dominion, and to carry the responsibility of two worlds. Ryan's stomach twisted. He had saved a ship once, but saving an entire species, even symbolically, was another matter entirely. The sisters led him to a viewing platform that overlooked a massive training ground. Here, Valari warriors practiced combat strategy and diplomacy. Floating holograms illustrated past wars, treaties, and heroic deeds. The scale of their civilization was staggering. Humans had colonies, yes, but nothing as immense as the Valari. This is where you will begin your trial of understanding, Saren explained. Observe our people, learn their ways, and act. You will be judged not only by courage, but by judgment, adaptability, and empathy. Rian nodded slowly. He tried to steady his racing thoughts. Empathy. Okay. I think I can do that. I've worked with all kinds of people, even when they were difficult or dangerous. I can try. Arala reached out and touched his arm lightly. That is enough for now. Let your heart guide you, Rian. Fear is natural. It is how you respond that matters. The sisters led him to a holographic simulation. The platform beneath him lit up, and suddenly he was no longer in the palace but in a city under attack. Alien soldiers were caught in a sudden ambush. Civilians, both Volari and human traders, were trapped among burning structures. The holographic Volari children cried for help. "This is your test," Saren's voice echoed. "Decide quickly. Save whom you can. Protect the innocent. Make choices that reflect both caution and courage." Rian's heart raced. His first instinct was to charge forward, but the hologram shifted unpredictably. He could not save everyone at once. He had to prioritize. His human logic kicked in. He began directing simulated Volari guards, ordering them to evacuate civilians, secure children, and create safe passages. He even instructed a few holographic soldiers to flank attackers, using his engineering knowledge to redirect energy barriers in the simulation. The simulation reacted instantly to his commands. The holographic fires died down, the children were rescued, and the attackers were trapped in containment zones. Ryan realized he was doing more than solving problems. He was learning to understand Volari priorities, their ethics, and their care for life. Arala's glow brightened slightly, as if she approved. Saren's red flickered with interest. "You are learning fast," Arala said. "Not every human would act with such clarity and concern. Your heart is strong, Rian, but now your mind must match it." Ryan wiped his forehead. "I hope so. It feels like I'm juggling 1,000 things at once." Saren's eyes softened. A rare moment of approval. A human's strength is not just in their body, but in their ability to adapt. You are proving that you can balance courage and judgment. The simulation shifted again. Now Rian faced a moral dilemma. Two separate areas required attention. In one, a group of Volari children were trapped beneath debris. In the other, a diplomat was surrounded by hostile forces and holding critical information that could prevent war. Time was limited. He could not save both at the same moment. Rian paused. He felt panic rising, but he forced himself to breathe. Humans had faced impossible choices before. On Mars, he had once decided which rover to save during a catastrophic sandstorm. He focused on what could save the most lives in the long run. He sent a rapid command to the holographic soldiers to secure the diplomat, while personally moving to rescue the children. Sweat dripped down his face as he used engineering tools and his wits to stabilize the debris. The holographic children screamed, but Ryan's calm actions reassured them. He pulled one child free, then another, until they were all safe. Simultaneously, the soldiers secured the diplomat and prevented any critical information from falling into enemy hands. The holographic simulation ended with a bright glow. The sisters and council reappeared around him. "Your decisions were wise," Arala said. "You have shown empathy, courage, and judgment. You understand the lives you are now connected to, both human and Volari." Saren nodded. "You are human, yes. But your mind is strong and your heart, strong enough to act beyond instinct. That is rare among humans and aliens alike." Ryan felt a rush of relief. Yet he also realized the enormity of what he was doing. He was not just completing a test. He was beginning to comprehend the weight of joining two civilizations. He could fail at any moment. One mistake could cost trust, friendship, and possibly the fragile alliance the Volari sought with humanity. He glanced at Arala. Her calm blue glow filled him with a strange sense of comfort. "You're amazing," he said quietly. Arala smiled. "And you, Ryan, are learning that your human ways are not weakness. They are strength. Courage, honesty, and simplicity. These qualities make humans special," Saren added, her tone softer than before. "Humans are unpredictable, yes, but that is why you are valuable. You may change what the Volari cannot. That is why we need you." Ryan's chest swelled with pride but also anxiety. He had never been called valuable for his heart before. Usually he was judged on skills, numbers, or technical ability. Yet here, his choices, his empathy, and his honesty mattered more than anything he had ever done. Before he could respond, a council elder stepped forward. "The next trial will be of knowledge and diplomacy. You must negotiate with representatives from other Volari sectors who will test your wit and understanding. You may face deception, challenge, or pressure. Success will prove that a human can be trusted beyond courage and instinct. Are you prepared?" Ryan hesitated. The idea of negotiating with alien diplomats made him nervous. He had only read about Volari laws, ethics, and trade agreements. He had never spoken to a council before, let alone argued on behalf of humans. Arala placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. You are prepared, Ryan. The heart and mind that guided you through the simulation will guide you through this trial. Saren's glow flickered with agreement. And remember, you are not alone. We will support you when needed, but you must take initiative. Humans are not slaves to tradition, but your choices must respect our laws and values. Ryan took a deep breath. He realized the sisters were teaching him more than rules. They were showing him the essence of Valari culture. They were teaching him responsibility, patience, and the importance of balance. He nodded firmly. I will do my best. I may not be perfect, but I will act with honesty, courage, and care. I promise that, the council murmured in approval. One elder stepped closer. Very well. Your human heart has proven strong, but strength must be tested in adversity. The trial continues tomorrow. Rest now, human, for the challenges will grow and so must you. Ryan bowed respectfully. Thank you. I will be ready. That night, he was led to a guest chamber in the palace. The room was filled with soft light and floating Valari flora. Ryan lay on the bed, exhausted but restless. His mind replayed every moment of the day, the ceremony, the simulation, the sisters' words. He realized the complexity of his situation. He was not just a visitor. He was a participant in an ancient tradition, a living example of human potential, and a symbol of hope for peace between worlds. The weight of that responsibility was heavy, but strangely exhilarating. Looking out the window at the twin moons of Valerian Prime, Ryan whispered to himself, I never thought fixing a reactor would lead to this, but maybe humans are stronger than we know. And somewhere in the glowing night skies, the stars seemed to shimmer with approval, watching a human engineer begin a journey that could change the fate of two civilizations. Ryan awoke before the twin suns of Valerian Prime rose above the horizon. The pale light spilled across the palace chamber, illuminating the floating flora and casting gentle shadows across the room. Today was the next step of the ceremony, the trial of hearts. He did not fully understand what it would involve, only that it would test not his skill but his humanity, and the trust the Valari placed in him. He dressed carefully in the ceremonial robes provided by the palace. The material was soft, glowing faintly as if alive, and it seemed to adjust to his body automatically. He had worn many types of clothing in his life, human work suits, space uniforms, even formal Earth attire, but nothing felt like this. It was both comfortable and alien, as if the fabric itself expected him to succeed. Arla waited for him in the chamber's entry hall. Her blue glow was soft and comforting, as if she understood the tension in him. Saren stood nearby, red-silver light flickering with anticipation. The two sisters flanked him as they led him toward the central arena. The trial of hearts is not about strength or knowledge, Arala explained quietly. It is about truth. You will face visions, illusions, and challenges that test your heart. You may see fears, regrets, and possibilities that never existed. You must remain true to yourself and to your promise to act with honesty and courage. Rian nodded, swallowing nervously. I understand it, I think. But what if I fail? Siren's eyes softened, a rare expression of warmth. Then you will learn. But humans are known for their perseverance. That is why you were chosen. The chamber they entered was enormous, a circular hall with a platform at its center. The walls were mirrors of crystal, reflecting light in infinite patterns. At the center, a glowing pool shimmered, sending waves of energy upward. The trial begins, a council elder intoned, and the pool expanded in light, enveloping Rian, Arala, and Saren. Immediately, the chamber shifted. The floor beneath Ryan vanished, replaced by a vast landscape of stars and shifting galaxies. The Valari sisters were still beside him, but now they seemed smaller, almost distant, as if the trial had taken them elsewhere. Ryan felt weightless, surrounded by visions of potential futures. The first vision appeared: Earth, burning under human conflict. Cities in ruins, people crying, machines failing. The vision was vivid and terrifying. He could see human suffering, failures of judgment, and the results of pride and greed. Rian's heart sank. He had never thought of humans in that way, capable of causing such destruction. But as he stared, he realized the vision did not end with despair. There were also humans helping each other, rebuilding and showing courage in the face of adversity. A voice echoed in the void. Your heart will be tested, human. Will you embrace fear or act with honesty and courage? Ryan took a deep breath. I will act. I cannot control everything, but I can make choices that help. I will focus on what I can do, not what I cannot. The vision shifted. Now he saw Arala and Saren. They were in danger, caught on a crumbling cliff above a swirling energy storm. He could hear their voices calling for help. His instincts shouted at him to jump to save them immediately. But he realized the trial was not about panic. It was about choice. He focused his mind, recalling his human training in engineering and problem-solving. He used the resources around him, the floating tools the trial provided, and created a temporary energy bridge to stabilize the cliff. Carefully, he guided Arala and Saren to safety, step by step, without rushing, without risking further harm. When they were safe, their glows shifted, Arala's a steady blue, Saren's a deep, controlled red. Both showed relief, trust, and a hint of pride. The next vision emerged. It was himself, but not as he was. This version of Rian was greedy, cowardly, and deceitful. He saw himself betraying humans and Valari alike for personal gain. The vision spoke in his voice. You are weak. You are unworthy. You cannot lead. You cannot honor your promise. Rian's heart hammered, but he refused to listen. I am not you, he said firmly. I make my own choices. I act with honesty, courage, and care. My mistakes will teach me, but I will not let fear control me. The vision faltered, then vanished. In its place appeared a new scene, a Valari village under threat from cosmic storms. Humans and Valari worked together, building shelters, guiding lost travelers, and sharing knowledge. Ryan saw collaboration, kindness, and bravery. He realized then that the trial was showing him both fear and hope, the consequences of action and inaction, and the responsibility of leadership. A gentle voice filled the chamber. Human, you are capable of change. Your courage is true, but your heart must guide others, not only yourself. Rian looked around. He understood now. The trial was not about winning or losing, or even about the sisters. It was about being human, showing bravery, empathy, and the ability to act with morality in difficult circumstances. Suddenly, the scene shifted again. He was in a room with Arala and Saren, surrounded by Valari nobles. A conflict had arisen, a debate over interstellar treaties, resources, and trust. Both sisters were arguing passionately, and humans were expected to mediate. He realized this was another test: diplomacy, fairness, and understanding. Rian stepped forward, speaking clearly and calmly. We must listen to all sides. Decisions made in anger or fear will harm both humans and Valari. Let us find common ground, understand needs and limitations, and choose solutions that protect life and promote peace. The visions responded immediately. The arguments softened. The nobles considered options carefully, and solutions appeared that honored both humans and Valari. Ryan realized then that empathy, patience, and honesty were his greatest tools. After what felt like hours, the chamber's energy dimmed, returning him to the crystal platform. Arala and Saren were beside him, their glows bright and steady. The council was silent, studying him intently. Finally, the elder spoke. Ryan, you have faced fear, doubt, and impossible choices. You have acted with honesty, courage, and wisdom. You have proven that humanity possesses a heart capable of bridging worlds. You are worthy. Ryan exhaled deeply. Relief and pride filled him. He had survived the trial of hearts not through strength or skill alone, but through empathy, honesty, and courage. Arala smiled warmly. You have shown what I hoped to see. Humans may seem fragile at first, but your heart is strong beyond expectation. You are more than worthy of our trust, Rian. Saren's red-silver glow softened. Yes, you have demonstrated wisdom, courage, and care. Few humans could have faced this trial and remained true. You have done so. That is why you are remarkable. Rian blinked. I don't know what to say. Thank you? I'm honored, but it's overwhelming. Arala laughed softly. It is not only overwhelming, Ryan. It is also a responsibility. But responsibility is not a burden when your heart is ready. Ryan looked at the sisters. He realized then that this trial had changed him. He was no longer just a human engineer. He had learned to see beyond fear, to make choices that affected lives, and to understand a culture far older and wiser than his own. He had begun to act not only for himself but for humans and Valari alike. As the council rose and applauded, Ryan felt a deep sense of purpose. He was part of something greater, something that could unite two worlds and prove that humans were capable of more than anyone had imagined. That night, he sat with Arala and Saren in the palace gardens. The twin moons reflected in the crystal pools and the soft glow of alien flora filled the air. "You were amazing today," Arala said quietly, her glow soft and comforting. "I knew humans could be brave, but you have shown something more: empathy, judgment, and honor." Saren nodded. "And you have done so while facing challenges most Valari would fear. That is why you are different, Rian. That is why you are special." Ryan smiled faintly. "I still feel like a tiny human in a galaxy of giants. But I think I understand now. Courage is not about being the strongest. It's about acting rightly even when it is hard." Arala reached out and held his hand gently. "And that is why you are worthy of our trust and perhaps more, Ryan. Not because of power, but because of heart." Saren placed her hand on his shoulder. "Tomorrow the next trial begins. But tonight rest. You have earned it. And remember, your choices will continue to shape not only your future, but the future of both our worlds." Rian nodded, looking out at the night sky. He felt a quiet determination growing inside him. He would not fail. He would act with honesty, courage, and care. And no matter what challenges awaited, he would prove that humans, despite their simplicity, could stand among the stars and make a difference. As the stars of Valerian Prime twinkled above, Ryan realized something profound. This journey was no longer about tests or ceremonies. It was about heart, courage, and the bonds that could unite worlds. And for the first time he felt ready for what was to come. Ryan awoke to the soft glow of the twin moons of Valerian Prime. Today was the day of the final ceremony, the equal vows. After surviving the trial of hearts and proving his courage, honesty, and empathy, he now faced the most delicate challenge yet, making a choice that would unite not only him and the sisters but potentially two entire civilizations. The palace was alive with anticipation. Nobles and diplomats from across the Valari Dominion had arrived, their glowing forms filling the grand hall with shimmering light. Outside, humans from the Interstellar Research Union watched from designated observation chambers. This was a moment the galaxy would remember. Arala and Saren waited at the center of the hall, their auras vibrant and steady. Arala's blue glow radiated calm and warmth, while Saren's red-silver shimmer was sharp, bold, and commanding. Both women had grown close to Ryan over the past trials, and both trusted him to act with honesty. Ryan adjusted his ceremonial robes, feeling the weight of the moment. He could feel the eyes of two species on him. The memories of the trial of hearts played in his mind, the visions of fear, hope, courage, and moral choices. He had learned that true strength was not in avoiding fear, but in acting rightly despite it. The Queen of the Valari Dominion stepped forward. Her voice echoed through the hall, clear and commanding. "Ryan, human of the Union, you have proven your heart and mind worthy. Today you will speak your vows, and the balance of our worlds will be shaped by your words. Remember, these vows are more than ceremony. They are a commitment to unity, trust, and honor." Ryan nodded, taking a deep breath. He knew that simply following tradition would not be enough. He had learned through the trials that actions and intentions mattered more than protocol. He had to create something new, something that honored both humans and Valari. He looked at Arala first. "Arala, you have shown me kindness, guidance, and trust. You have taught me about your people, your culture, and your values. I promise to act with honesty, courage, and care, to support you and your people, and to respect every decision we make together." Arala's eyes glowed softly. "And I promise to trust your heart, Ryan, to honor your choices and to stand with you as we guide both our peoples together." Then Ryan turned to Saren. Her presence was commanding, yet she radiated warmth. "Saren, you have challenged me, tested my judgment, and helped me see beyond myself. I promise to act with respect, honesty, and courage with you, to listen, to learn, and to honor the trust you place in me." Saren's red-silver glow brightened. "And I promise to honor your human heart, to guide and support you, and to share equally in the responsibilities and joys of this bond." The room fell silent. The Queen and Council waited, watching for Ryan's final decision. All eyes were on him, but he felt calm. He realized then that he did not have to choose between the sisters. He did not have to conform to old laws if they were outdated. He could create something new, a vow that honored both sisters equally and respected his human values. Rian spoke clearly, addressing the gathered nobles and the observers from the Union. I will not choose one over the other because both are remarkable, and I will not follow tradition blindly. Instead, I promise this. I will honor both Arala and Saren equally. I will act with honesty, courage, and care. I will respect their choices, and I will work to create a bond that strengthens our worlds, not diminishes them. The hall was quiet. The Queen raised an eyebrow, impressed by his courage. Arala and Saren's glows shifted, reflecting relief, pride, and trust. You speak wisely, human, the Queen said. Volari tradition values balance, but balance can take many forms. You have created a new path that honors both law and heart. Your vows are accepted. Ryan exhaled, feeling a mix of relief and elation. The tension that had pressed on him for days began to lift. He looked at the sisters and felt gratitude. They had trusted him, guided him, and allowed him to make this choice in his own way. Arala stepped closer, taking his hand gently. Together we will guide our peoples. Your human perspective, honesty, and courage are invaluable. Saren joined, placing her hand over his. And together we will face challenges, make decisions, and create a future where humans and Volari stand as equals. The glow around the three of them brightened, filling the chamber with light. Nobles and humans alike gasped at the radiance, recognizing that this was more than a ceremony. It was a symbol of unity and hope. The council elder approached and spoke, his voice resonating through the hall. Ryan, you have not only proven your heart, but also your vision. You have shown that humans are capable of understanding, courage, and leadership beyond their appearance. Let this union by vow and example stand as a bridge between our civilizations. Ryan felt the weight of the words. He had never considered himself a leader, but now he understood that leadership came from action, courage, and empathy. It was not about power or status. It was about heart. The ceremony continued with the exchange of symbolic gifts. Ryan gave Arala a pendant made of earth crystal, representing clarity, perseverance, and truth. He gave Saren a small mechanical device crafted by his own hands, symbolizing ingenuity, care, and the ability to solve problems with patience and creativity. Both gifts were simple, human-made, but heartfelt. In return, Arala gave Ryan a shimmering crystal of Valerian Prime, glowing with the warmth of her people. Saren gave him a small scroll containing the laws of the Volari Dominion, showing trust in his ability to learn, understand, and respect them. The exchange was more than tradition. It was a demonstration of mutual trust, respect, and equality. Rian felt an overwhelming sense of connection, to the sisters, to the Volari, and to humanity itself. The Queen rose, her radiant aura filling the chamber. Let it be known throughout the Volari Dominion and the human colonies that a new bond has been formed. Not of dominance or tradition alone, but of equality, respect, and courage. Let this bond serve as an example to all, that humans and Volari can stand together, trust one another, and create a future guided by heart and wisdom. Applause and glowing vibrations filled the hall. Humans watching from the observation chambers cheered. Volari nobles exchanged impressed glances, recognizing the significance of this unprecedented union. Rian stood between Arala and Saren, holding their hands firmly. He realized that he had not only survived impossible tests, but he had created something new, a symbol of hope, unity, and equality. Arala spoke softly, her voice filled with emotion. We did not know if this could happen, but you, human, have shown us that courage, honesty, and heart can achieve what tradition alone cannot, Saren added, her tone proud but gentle. And we have learned that humans are capable of understanding fairness and bravery beyond expectation. You have earned our trust completely, Ryan smiled. I am not perfect. I will make mistakes. But I promise to act with honesty, courage, and care every day. I will honor both of you, our peoples, and this bond we have created. The sisters leaned closer, their glows intertwining with his. The light expanded, touching the nobles, the humans, and even the walls of the palace. It was a radiant display of unity, a physical symbol of the equal vows being honored. From that moment, Rian felt a new strength within himself. He understood that being human was not a weakness in the galaxy. Humans had courage, empathy, ingenuity, and the ability to act rightly even under pressure. That was why he had been chosen. That was why he could make a difference. The remainder of the day was filled with celebrations. Music from both human and Valari traditions played, creating a harmony that symbolized the union of worlds. Dancers moved gracefully, combining styles from both cultures. The palace gardens glowed with floating lights, and food from Earth and Valerian Prime was shared among guests. Rian walked alongside Arala and Saren, feeling a quiet sense of pride and joy. The sisters occasionally spoke in Valari, their words soft and melodic, yet he understood the meaning through gestures and shared glances. Trust had been built, and with it, a bridge between civilizations had been formed. As the evening came, Ryan stood on a balcony overlooking the city. The twin moons reflected on the crystal towers and floating gardens. He looked at Arala and Saren beside him and realized something profound. Courage, honesty, and empathy were not just human strengths. They were universal, and when combined with respect and trust, they could change the course of worlds. Arala whispered, "Together, we will lead both humans and Valari into a brighter future," Saren added, "and together we will show that equality, courage, and heart matter more than tradition alone." Ryan felt a deep warmth in his chest. For the first time in his life, he felt that he truly belonged, not just among humans, not just among Valari, but as a link between two civilizations, capable of creating lasting peace and trust. The stars above Valerian Prime seemed to shine brighter than ever. Ryan knew that the journey had only begun, but he was ready. He had survived tests, faced fear, and learned to act with heart. Now he would face the future with courage, honesty, and care as a human, a partner, and a bridge between worlds. And as he held the hands of Arala and Saren, the equal vows were complete, marking the dawn of a new age, one guided not by tradition alone, but by the heart, courage, and unity of all.